Diet series and a look at some easy swaps to incorporate more plants into your everyday diet. Health and wellness reporter Lauren Petty shows us some options to consider when it comes to stocking your kitchen.
This is the stuff I have in my house.
Registered nutritionist dietitian Jen Bruning raided her pantry.
We don't want to overlook things like canned or dried fruits and vegetables.
To show us simple ways to add more plants to your diet.
Beans are such an amazing entry point into plant-based eating.
Chickpeas and black beans are two varieties of many.
Toss those into a soup. Make them into something like a black bean patty.
Lentils are another legume and something you can add to meat sauce or even taco meat.
You could do partly the animal protein, you could do partly lentils. They have the ones that hold their structure, like the green or the black lentils, make kind of a nice substitute for something like a ground meat.
Tofu comes in two forms. The silken kind is shelf stable and can be blended into smoothies and soups.
The protein from that is anywhere around like 6 to 7 grams per serving, but it's such a low calorie, high protein food, you can eat multiple servings at once.
Whole grains, including sorghum, farro, and wild rice, are hearty and a good protein source too.
Something like wild rice has 7 grams of protein in one serving.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we can't forget your classic fruits and vegetables to bulk up any meal.
I realized we have quite a few brassicas.
Brassicas include broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts.
Those types of plant foods are actually particularly important when it comes to reducing the risk of cancer.
Plant-based food blogger Jen Dembski recommends eating mostly whole foods, but she also showed us a few swaps.
This is actually a plant-based vegan sushi that I found in my local grocery store's freezer.
That are hard to tell the difference from the real thing and available in most grocery stores. There's fishless fish sticks, chickenless tenders, and beefless ground tacos.
I think that's how some people can make that transition to a plant-based lifestyle, is to incorporate some of these swaps into their diet. Maybe not every day, probably not the best thing, but a couple times a week or a couple times a month.
This looks like a pulled pork sandwich, but it's jackfruit that comes in a can.
Saute the jackfruit, caramelize it a little bit, add some vegan barbecue sauce, and then voila.
These are dairy-free swaps for butter, sour cream, mayo, and even cheese.
I would definitely say try a lot of different brands and find the one you like, and don't give up after the first one or two.
And for those with a sweet tooth, last but definitely not least,
dairy-free ice cream and novelties are also now available in any store's freezer section.
is that a sign of just where we are
It
with
really
plant-based
is.
eating?
Absolutely. The swaps are just amazing out there.
It's one thing to eat plant-based at home, but how do you navigate social situations and questions about your choices? We'll share expert advice tomorrow at 6. Lauren Petty, NBC 5 News.